Diamant, where's the king?
He's headed to the front line. Our orders are to wait here with a rear guard.
Will do.
Here, take this.
The ring? You didn't give it to your father?
I tried. He wouldn't take it.
The king said that if anything should happen, he wants you to keep my ring safe.
But what if he needs it?
Father wants a fair fight. Not to say that using the ring is unfair, but we Brodians have a particular sense of pride. He wants to stand in his own strength, and asked us to respect that.
I understand. I'm just not sure our enemies will have the same code of honor. Let's be at the ready. If push comes to shove, I want to be able to help.
It's a plan.
Agreed.
It looks like the battle has begun.
Your invasions of my country come at a very high price. And now you will pay it.
Do you really think you can withstand the might of Brodia?
Yes, my army is blessed by Lord Sombron himself.
Damn you. Well then, is that all the power your dragon's got?
He is not yet at full strength. Not until the ritual.
Ritual?
The one by which we shall reignite his true glory. And for that, we need a sacrifice of sovereign blood. Blood thus offered will be yours.
What?
Father!
Come on, Diamant. There's still time to rescue him.
You have lost this battle, former King of Brodia.
Well, he's not getting any lighter. Come on.
We know what to do, Your Majesty. See you later.
My father. They're trying to take him away!
We won't let them!
So you say, but you are wrong.
Princess Ivy!
Whatever the cost, you will hold them here, child.
Yes,
Oh, and Ivy, don't forget that ring was given to you by our Lord Sombron. Your failure to protect it was a grievous one. It is your duty to reclaim the ring now. I take my leave to Elusia. Do not fail me again.
so you want me to buy time for you as I die here? Very well. I die for you, Father.
You're not going to stop us!
We have to get King Morian back from them right now! We have to! The storm keeps getting harsher.
We must drive back Princess Ivy's forces! Dragging away father like that, what could King Hyacinth be planning?
I don't know. But with so many of the corrupted, this will be a tough battle.
It's a cold day on the Illusion front. Ivy, Kagetsu, and Zelkov stand between us and Morian. The map iterates on the motifs we've seen in previous Brodia maps. Like both Chapters 7 and 8, there are obstacles in the middle that force non-flyers to pick a side. Unlike Chapter 8, which gave us the upper hand with defensive fortifications, here we're on the border. The two strongholds are in the middle of the map. Kagetsu and Zelkov will beeline to their respective forts, and once they do, they'll unleash corrupted reinforcements. Conversely, if we beat them to those tiles, we can use the terrain bonuses against them. It's not trivial to do so, but we have a lot of movement tech. We'll manage just fine. In the center stands Diamant's second retainer, Jade. The prospect of a green unit surrounded by enemies might bring back painful memories from previous games, but there's no need for panic. She'll last quite a long time against the armors, unless you're extraordinarily unlucky. You can recruit her without undue stress just by moving towards her with Alear or Diamant. Just make sure you don't let Ivy move into a range. That generally won't end well. I'm trying to add some drama, and Alear did call this a tough battle, but to be frank, this chapter's a dip in the difficulty curve. That's by design. We already beat Ivy after she confidently waltzed into Brodia Castle, emblem ring in hand. Now she's fighting out of desperation, the deck stacked against her. She's certainly dangerous, as are her retainers if they get the terrain advantage, but I'd call this map the calm before the storm. This playthrough dials that dip in the difficulty curve up to 11, or down to 0, as it were. We're far ahead of an average team. The designers weren't expecting my zeal for Micaiah and Marth training, and after Chapter 8 that XP rewards us with powerful promoted units like Mage Knight Anna. If that weren't enough, we just did 2 DLC paralogs, rocketing us ahead of the level curve. This might be the strongest we'll ever be relative to our foes. Savor it while you can. After Maddening's done throwing its punches, winning through statistical domination will be naught but a distant memory. We have a few training goals, simple bond rank and SP targets. Because we're so strong relative to our foes, we have the freedom to pursue long-term training objectives. I'm pairing Leaf with Citrinne just to get a bond rank. It only works if you don't need Leaf to be good. Without the DLC, this chapter is a lot more important. Don't be afraid to take your time and make sure your team's ready for Chapter 10. After 2 DLC paralogs, however, the last thing we need is another long training map. We'll use our statistical superiority to go full steam ahead and wrap this up quickly. I sound confident, don't I? Let's hope I don't eat my words.
The snow's really swirling now. I wonder if I'll be able to find Prince Diamant. Couldn't be a worse time for meditation. But I've got to clear my head. Here goes.
Alear starts moving towards Jade, getting Shield Gambit. This is the first map I'm pining for my usual Lance Griffin Alear. Summon Hero has top-down left-right priority. Alear and Yunaka block the first 2 squares, so next up is the east. We summon a non-flyer, they'll instead spawn below Chloe. This guarantees they'll be in range of where I need them, and we're picking a sword unit, who will hopefully be broken by the enemy.
I wonder what hero will arrive.
We do have to pray for a unit with low enough defense to actually take damage, because there's no way to advance the RNG. If we get an armor or Great Knight here, we have to reset the map. Summon Hero is more literal than I realized. That'll work. He baits the Lance Flyer.
Allow me.
Citrinne's going to give another enemy something to do. Hold on to the image of Citrinne being a viable frontline combatant without Bondage Shield. I can't imagine you'll get many more chances to see it. Veronica Engraved Elsurge has -10 crit, which is so much better than 10 crit. Citrinne would die if she one-shot the Lance Fighter. Everyone else just moves forward. I'm trying to avoid leaving units in the dust, but on this map it's inevitable without something like Warp. I considered using that here, but in the interest of showing a somewhat normal clear, I decided against any staff shenanigans. Sailing can discharge the entire northern side. She'll one-round the axe users. We need Obstruct for Cantor, so it doesn't hurt to make the southern side a little more consistent by blocking a potential flyer square.
Anytime.
Lapis is on cleanup duty, so Sailing can keep moving forward. She starts by baiting a Thunder Mage to ensure his movement is consistent.
I fear this will not end well.
Princess Ivy, did the king perhaps grant you another ring?
No. You heard him, didn't you? If I want a ring, I must reclaim the one I lost. This time with no reinforcements. We must make do. If you want to leave, I'll understand.
What will you do?
I have no choice but to stay. Even if I know it's hopeless. Even if I know I will die. You two, head to the northern and southern forts. The corrupted are standing by there.
So much for meditation. Now, think you can get through my defenses?
1% crit is just diabolical. It may seem silly to say this, but Celine's really good when she's 5 levels ahead of the enemies. You can instead snowball with a unit like Chloe, who's better suited to keep that snowball going into the mid-game, but I think it's more fun to give many characters a chance to shine. Celine can cede the spotlight later without the feeling I've wasted her talents. More prosaically, it's often hard for support units to stay on the level curve. Celine's getting as much of a head start as you could possibly want, so I don't need to worry about feeding her kills on subsequent maps.
I will not forget your loss.
Ready.
Lapis can take out the mage who attacked her, setting up a double mend for Anna. Celine needs the healing if she doesn't dodge a single attack.
I won't let this go to my head.
The Lance Flyer here would ordinarily complicate things for a sword user, but Roy gives us the Lance Reaver. Yes, she could just equip fire, and yes, she doesn't even need to counterattack, but let's just let Roy have this one, alright? We use Obstruct because Kagetsu's going towards the fort, and we want him to take the southern route, as well as because we want the extra movement. We want our summon to get out of the way. He can protect our flank. Alear has 3 houses for the extra movement here. Without flight, this lets us reach Jade a turn sooner. Is this actually needed? No, but I'm sure Jade appreciates the thought. I gave Alear level 10 with 3 houses so I could upgrade Amio's hit for Chapter 7 reliability. She won't use the bracelet going forward. I enjoy building bond rank organically when possible, so I didn't want to spend those fragments on someone using the bracelet throughout the game.
I'll strike you down!
She looks cool doing Houses Unite, at least. Alcryst takes out the Lance Fighter. He could have one-shot the Flyer if Alear or my summon missed.
I had no choice but to win.
Yunaka, Amber, and Jean all do some chip damage. I think dying to a Citrinne killer axe hit is hilariously ignominious, so I went for that here. Citrinne has advantage, so she even gets 2 chances to hit, but she still couldn't make it happen without a rewind. Now she's moving before Jean.
May I call on you?
Her hit rate's perfect for a killer axe kill. Yes, I do have L-Surge.
Please forgive me.
Jean does his chip damage. He's protected by Alear and our hero. You might ask, how are we going to get Citrinne a full bond level if she's seemingly left in the dust? Contract to the rescue. Citrinne now gets a quadruple hit kill, the maximum bond rank you can get in a turn. The light round hit is normally the weak one, but for her it's the only good hit.
I claim this victory.
That's her training knock on this map, done and dusted. For Citrinne, inheriting build's basically the same as inheriting speed, and fixing her attack speed requires an all-of-the-above approach. I'm sure someone has had the 1 in 10,000 double crit here, and I think Intelligent Systems owes them an apology. Lapis can use Mercurius to take out the Lance Flyer.
I'm prepared.
Unlike the glass cannons we normally do this kind of bait and switch with, Kagetsu can barely scratch Lapis. The exact square she moves to doesn't matter.
Who's next?
With Canter and Obstruct, Saileen's able to beat Kagetsu to the fort without Sigurd or Celica.
If Princess Ivy stays, I stay.
Because he gets you to the south, she can Blazing Lion without obstructing the armors, weaken him, and then canter into the fort. There she can't be broken. The lance armors don't stand a chance. Let's make Jade a blue unit. I'll do her analysis at the end of the video to keep the flow of the map.
Excuse me, are you alright?
Oh, yes. I was meditating for a moment. Who are you? A new border guard?
No, I'm the Divine Dragon.
How rude of me. I am Jade, a royal knight of Brodia. Prince Diamant has told me about you. May I join your ranks, Divine One?
Of course. Welcome, Jade.
Thank you. Now then, I'll show you why they call me the Iron Wall.
At this point, there's a fair bit of randomness in play, and I realize after executing my first plan that I have a better one. My hero doubles the Lance Flyer, also getting hit. That gives Citrinne the kill. I consider the Killer Axe. All Surge does feel a bit more reliable.
Please forgive me.
Now Jean can take out an armor instead of the flyer. As it happens, I don't need Anna to be on a particular side, but in some iterations of my plan this was important, so I make sure I'm not messing up.
I have to keep everyone safe.
Anna has no problem taking on the other one.
All in a day's work.
Zelkov's moving towards the fort, so no matter how he chose to get there, he is now 2 tiles away. Amber can always weaken him from the fort and canter away.
I could have run, but I remained. Now I must fight.
Let's just hope Zelkov doesn't crit. In comes Yunaka. She can finish Zelkov off no problem. Yunaka doesn't have Saileen's raw stats or 10 levels over the enemies, but she does have covert bonus avoid. All she needs is Zelkov softened up and she's ready to dominate this part of the map.
My apologies.
Oblivion is near. I can't take any more. Back to Princess Ivy I go.
I doubt many runs will have a Saileen who can do what mine's doing to the north, but many Yunakas can pull this off with the right support. Try it if you're feeling zappy. In the past, I've had to pick between getting a kill and using Great Sacrifice. Now Anna can do both, thanks to Veronica. I'm starting to think Contract's going to be a lot more useful in this series than it would be on a casual run of mine. We'll want full HP for this big enemy phase. Jade stays next to her new friends. Saileen's dominant here, which you'd expect for a unit so far ahead in XP. Let me take a moment to shout out Yunaka, who's dominating without that advantage. After a Luck Tonic and inheriting Tome Precision 1, these armors have a 5% hit rate against her. They do 12 damage after she levels defense, so their expected damage is 0.6. below 0.5, and they wouldn't even bother as they'd round to 0. This is essentially the lowest average damage you'll ever see in Madden in combat.
I am defeated. I cannot fall here. I must protect Princess Ivy.
Chloe and Anna refilled their meters. I almost forget to heal Anna so she can Great Sacrifice again. Amber can use Sigurd's full movement to get an exact one-shot on the Northern Monk and canter out of Ivy's range. Mage Holmes and Amber still don't mix. Using canter like this will be invaluable against scary enemy formations later in the game. The Flame Lance armor here can't damage Saline, so we take him out on our turn.
I will not forget your loss.
We want to make Ivy's movement consistent, so we need a unit to bait her. Jade seems like the worst choice, and she is, but that's the fun part. With Jean's Geosphere divinely inspiring and her own personal meditation giving res +2, she just barely survives. Meditation only procs if you wait without trading first, so Alear has to trade her the Great Axe for later. Divine Blessing isn't needed, but it's crit insurance.
I'll be good.
Thanks.
Yunaka faces a Hurricane Axe armor, who can't hit her and won't try, 2 Iron Axe armors with just enough expected damage to still fight, and an L-Surge mage who's guaranteed to hit her. One reason she got a Luck Tonic was to reduce the chance the mage crits her. We can reduce the odds further by trying for a crit on our turn.
You're dead.
Yunaka understood the assignment. I do have a confession to make. Yunaka's outstanding performance here is her last. I'm sorry, I'm not good with goodbyes.
My father's orders were plain. You will not pass.
We couldn't have gotten here without her. In Chapter 6, she gave us our first taste of Micaiah's power. In Anna's Paralogue, she alone was able to warp Ragnarok into the middle and take control of the map without dying. In Jean's Paralogue, she again warped deep in the enemy lines and took all comers with Seraphim. There, she was our first enemy-faced Juggernaut. In Chapter 7, she survived Rosado and one-rounded Hortensia. She was again the only woman for the job. Even knowing I wouldn't use her long-term, I found again and again that she made a clear work when no one else could. If you're in Papaya Nation and plan to use her all game, pairing her with Celica like I have has exceeded even my expectations. I'd recommend pursuing a similar approach, and then either waiting for coring or reclassing at level 21 into something with magical offense or utility. Of course, if you get my insane Ancient Well luck and pick up a free Silver Dagger, she'll be a physical powerhouse with that forge, at least for a while. With this setup, Ivy's group always makes this formation. Let's get the Monk chain guarding for Ivy out of the way. Surely Jade needs healing to do that? Nah. All the Monk can do is break his hands. This is why I've set things up to leave some enemies alive on the wings. Saline can advance the RNG.
Emblem Engage!
I won't miss.
I'm straight through!
As a prize for fighting Kagetsu's group, we get a Spirit Dust. I'm not sure who will get it yet. If you have strong opinions, leave a suggestion in the comments. Now we can get this guy out of the way. As much as I thought having Jade attacking Ivy would be funny, her hit rates are atrocious. John's more reliable, and he'll set up a double kill on Ivy with Contract. Alear tries to get damaged. If the mage Sailing just killed ended up going south, Jean would have handled him while Alear moved Ivy north. An unlucky dodge. Lapis gets the double XP boss kill.
I must end you. I won't let this go to my head.
This is the first map we can get double XP from both boss kills. Contract's almost like a second Mercurius.
Emblem Engage!
There is another option. When I see an Illusion Royal 1 square out of line, I start getting ideas. In Chapter 7, getting an override required Vandarin, which was dreadfully unreliable. Now we have Lapis with a good hit rate and her liege Alcryst by her side to easily advance RNG. Her personal gives plus 10 hit and minus 10 crit. Both are perfect for this shop. Before the shish kebab of destruction, we have a little more training to do. Citrinne can take a Hurricane Axe hit just fine, so she gets damage while cleaning up the armor. Yunaka could have taken the kill or advanced the RNG by tinking with a dagger.
I claim this victory. I'm pretty tough, you know. This item is not for sale! I have no choice!
With this last great sacrifice, Anna finishes her training. She gets a level, max bond rank, and 1000 SP. In Chapter 7, our big override left 3 units standing. Amber can do a little better.
One strike will decide it all.
Father, I'm sorry.
A 5-turn route is a breath of fresh air after the long DLC maps. This is fun.
You've won. Please. Kill me.
No. I will not take your life.
Don't be naive. If I live, what's to stop me from hunting you down?
You can't return to Elusia after this. Your kingdom's through with you.
What gives you that idea?
If King Hyacinth had wanted you to survive, he would have given you an emblem ring. Besides, he had no need to stall us. The weather alone would have slowed us down. I don't understand it, but the king used you. He never meant for you to survive.
I suppose you're right.
Your father has already sacrificed your life. I won't do the same.
You will not grant me the release of death. How cruel, but you are my deity, and I respect your will.
Huh?
Could I ask you to forget that?
All right.
In exchange, I offer information. I will tell you where King Morian is being taken, and why.
Huh?
Well, out with it.
My father intends to perform a ritual that will restore the Fell Dragon's power.
A ritual?
You see, though the Fell Dragon has been freed, his abilities are diminished. Imprisonment drained him. He is exhausted and can't transform into a dragon. Ideally, he would have all 12 rings, but securing them will take time. In the interim, Sombron decided to temporarily regain his powers through an ancient ritual, in which he consumes sovereign blood.
You can't mean my father.
But then King Morian...
Yes. My father took him as an offering to Sombron. That was his aim from the start.
That's horrific.
The ritual will take place at Destinia Cathedral. You must hurry, and do be careful. Since the Fell Dragon's return, father has not been himself.
I see.
That is the extent of what I know. Come, Zelkov. Kagetsu. Let us leave this place.
What are you going to do?
Whatever I can, without taking sides. If we meet again, Divine Dragon, I pray it is not as enemies.
Let's head to Elusia.
Yes, we have to hurry.
Wow, can you imagine how terrible it would be if we gallivanted off to another DLC paralog at this crucial story juncture? We would never. Let's say hi to our new recruit, Jade. I knew Diamant had to have a second retainer. Say hello to Jade, our second armor. Jade inverts Louis' growths, as do most second joiners in a class. That means Jade has more magic, dexterity, and resistance than Louis, but less HP, strength, and defense. Her personal ability clearly designates her as the magic-leaning armor. She has an unusual stat line, but the closest comparison so far is a bulky but slow Saline or Yunaka. If you've seen my previous analyses, you know I'm definitely a fan of mixed offense. The 11 Sword's a great 1-2 range option, and she's better with the Hurricane Axe than any standard mage because of her bulk. On paper, a unit like Louis but with mixed offense could thrive as a durable frontline fighter with good 1-2 range. After all, my Saline and Yunaka just dominated her join map. Alas, the real story is not quite as rosy. As I emphasized in Saline's analysis, jack-of-all-trades units can easily just become bad at everything on Madden. The first thing I'm expecting from any combat unit I field is to one-round an enemy. Only once you hit that benchmark does it really matter how good your other stats are. My Saline and Yunaka both just barely hit their thresholds in Chapter 9, with the help of foraging and tonics. Then their well-rounded stat lines took them from competence to greatness. Jade's first strike in comparison to Saline or Yunaka is that trading speed for defense is not ideal. Generally to one-round enemies you must double. Defense, on the other hand, only shines when you're already a good unit, helping you fight more often. Her second strike is a much worse start. Saline and Yunaka have great bases, boosted by their classes, and they join with an emblem. They get training in early before there's fierce competition for emblems and XP. I haven't shown it in this playthrough, but Louis is more than capable of doing the same thing with his join time. He doesn't start with an emblem, but being in armor before enemies get magic is enough to really put in work. Jade joins with uninspiring bases, one level higher than Diamant and Amber and without extra SP, after the early game Micaiah and Marth bounties are taken. She also joins after the best maps for armor. Even the groups of armors on her join map have a magic weapon user and mage with them. As the game's difficulty scales, groups of enemies that only hit defense will be the exception, not the rule. Jade's extra resistance over Louis would be great if you could keep a 10 level lead over the enemies, but it's not going to make that a good matchup unless you're snowballing, and Jade's not an easy snowball to get rolling. Units who can't easily become generalist powerhouses usually aim for a less demanding role. Louis struggles with enemy magic even more than Jade, but he can still do a few things well, one-shotting units with high strength, good engage attacks, and tanking physical enemies. You can find places he can apply these talents throughout the game, even if his best days on the front lines are behind him. Jade's not going to fill any of those smaller niches better than Louis, with the exception of using the Hurricane Axe. There's another unfortunate thing about Jade's situation. She's the very last unit to join before we start getting new pre-promotes. Having good mixed bulk would be a nice selling point for a staff user or thief you don't want to worry about dying from a single hit, but early seals are a precious resource to spend on that marginal advantage. Although the Ancient Well mostly fixes this, it is worth noting that she needs some help with SP. That's another scarce resource that, if we're being frank, Jade's not going to do as much with as other units. This is becoming quite a pessimistic review. Jade's a fun character. I think she's the best version of Armor Axe unit who subverts Armor Axe unit expectations in Engage. I don't want to make this entire analysis about her flaws. I do think she's worse off than anyone we've seen in a while, but this is Engage. If you couldn't use a unit just because Chloe's better, half my team wouldn't be here. Let's talk about what she can do. First off, although they're hardly meta-defining, it's not like mixed tanks are unusable on Maddening, and Jade has genuinely one of the best defense resistance tandems in Engage. In something like Great Knight, she's unlikely to one-round anything, but there are plenty of enemies who will barely scratch her. She makes a great partner with glass cannons who can clean up on your turn. We're also about to get Lyn, who can fix Jade's speed and turn her into essentially a bulkier Yunaka who can reclass immediately. Even without the speed Lyn gives, she is a capable secondary unit, perhaps in Griffin Knight or another staff class. I think you can argue Mage Knight's her best class. She doesn't have the magic or speed to shoot for one rounding like Anna or Citrinne, but she does have significantly better bulk. She can use the Hurricane Axe with Ike, or just be a workhorse frontline unit with decent stats and everything but speed. There's another good thing about Jade I haven't mentioned. She benefits more from the DLC than maybe anyone else. You can easily play Chapter 9 before going to play a few DLC paralogs. And if you're training Jade, that's a no-brainer. The DLC's extra books also mean she won't strain your team building quite as much. She's then a good fit for most of the DLC emblems in some capacity. Hector's the most popular choice because Quick Riposte negates her speed weakness on enemy phase, and he is a magic weapon for some reason. She can get a snowball going with Tiki better than most. Veronica, Chrom, and Camilla all give her support utility and a magic weapon. In part because she's not a fixture of the meta, I think she's a fun choice for some DLC favoritism. She's fairly unusual statistically, so she can do things other units can't and add variety to your playthrough. I think Jade's start, keeping things mostly under control until you help her out, sets expectations well. She can hold her own with some support. There are units who thrive without as much help, but there's more to engage in having the tier list make your decisions for you. If you make a point of investing in her, she has a wide variety of builds and brings something different to the table. It's a rare team where Jade's doing something another unit couldn't do, but if you're a fan of funny supports or face tank comedians, that's all the reason you need to bring her along. Anyway, next time we'll gallivant off to another DLC paralog, the infamous Camilla map. Unlike this chapter, we will not be routing that. Then we prepare for a truly incredible battle, Chapter 10. Bye a papaya!
The deeper we venture into Elusia, the worse this blizzard gets. Is this the way to Destinia Cathedral?
I don't know. In this snow, it's hard to tell where we're going.
We don't have time to get lost. Hold on. I see someone up ahead.
Is that you?
Vale!
You know her?
She's a friend. Vale, how did you get here?
I don't know.
You don't know how you crossed the border into another country?
Well, how about you? You look worried. Is something the matter?
We're trying to reach Destinia Cathedral, but we got lost in the snow.
If it's the cathedral you're looking for, head that way.
You know where it is?
Uh-huh. You're close. See that really tall tree over there? Use that as a landmark.
I appreciate your help.
I owed you for patching me up the other day. That was so kind. Huh. Were you wearing that ring before?
Yes. It's very important to me.
I didn't notice it the other day. It's pretty. Really. Pretty.
Vale?
Emblem ring.
Vale!
Oh, I'm sorry. I better be on my way.
Where are you going? It's not safe!
She's gone.
There's no time to search for her. Not when Father's life hangs in the balance.
You're right. Let's hurry. Vale. What in the world?